Hello, what's happening? Matt aka Luke the Frag here, doing our second part in the Road to Rage-Free Gaming. Now, in the first episode we covered never rage quitting, and my commitment to never rage quitting another game, never going to the dashboard, never leaving a game. And now to follow up on this, maybe to add to it a little bit. This is something that's been bothering me a little bit. It's a sense of sportsmanship in gaming. And, you know, being a humble loser. So here's my challenge to you, and my challenge to me, is every time I lose a game, I'm going to say good game to the other team. Now this is incredibly hard to do sometimes when you're frustrated. I've seen this a lot on PC. People say, you know, GG. They just type it in the chat, which means good game. I've often done this on consoles. I haven't done it every game. A lot of times I'm pissed off or call somebody a camper or whatever. But, you know, I challenge you to say good game to the other team every time you lose. Now, what this does is it'll shut a lot of people up. For one, a lot of people like to talk crap after games. If you get the first word in and you just say good game, a lot of time people will say, oh, you know, good game, and you can move on to the next game. You know, if you had a really bad experience in that room, you can just move on to the next one. But overall, I just want to promote a good sense of sportsmanship. This is something I've, you know, had quite a bit of experience with. I used to play in a lot of chess tournaments, and it's always, you always end your games by saying good game to the other player. Regardless of how bad you lost or won, you just say good game. It's common courtesy. We all play these games over and over and over again. And if we all say good game after the end of every single game, it makes for a lot more pleasurable experiences. I think the better your sportsmanship is in anything, the more enjoyable your experience will be. And I've gotten away from this a little bit, and I'd like to get back into it. So my next step, after not rage quitting any games, after... you know, I'm not going to leave any game regardless of my connection, how bad we're losing, anything like that, is regardless of how bad I lose, I'm going to say good game to the other team. And I challenge you to do that as well. I think you'll find it is actually very rewarding, and you'll actually meet some good people out of it. Actually, a couple of my really good gaming buddies that I had back in Modern Warfare 2, I met in a lobby where I lost. And they were about to start talking crap, and you said, okay, well, you know, good game, guys, good game, you know, you got us. They're like, oh, well, you know, good game. And then we ended up partying up and had a good time after that. Whereas, if my reaction would have been to rage on them because they just beat me up so bad, you know, maybe I wouldn't have made that connection. You definitely meet more good people with positive interactions, regardless of what you do in life, but especially in gaming. I mean, think about how many thousands of games you're going to play. And if you ended all of those on a good note instead of a horribly mad note, you know, you'd be a little bit better off. Say it through gritted teeth if you have to. You know, if you're really that mad, say it begrudgingly, but still say those words, good game. Because the fact is the other team beats you, you know, regardless of whether you like the way they beat you or not. Maybe they're a bunch of corner camping trolls. I don't know. I've certainly had some majorly frustrating losses in my career. I think the most frustrating for me is people that camp in really weird ways. So throw out an example here on Black Ops, on Hotel. I've mentioned this before, but right when the hotel map came out, people would camp those elevators with motion sensors. And sometimes you'd run into rooms where the entire team was camping with motion sensors, all inside one building. Absolutely infuriating. I think a horribly boring and cheap way to play the game. But you know what? It worked for them. And regardless of whether I like their tactics or not, whether I like the way they played the game, they indeed did spend $60 on that game. And, you know, they're allowed to play it however they want. As long as they're not glitching under the map or using an aimbot, they're using the tools within the game, and they won. That's the bottom line. They won the game. And anytime you lose, the bottom line is you lost. Regardless if it's your teammate's fault or the person's playing in a dirty way, you know, you have to be a good sport about it. You know, if you're constantly raging at people when they play in ways that you don't like, that doesn't promote anything but hate in the gaming community. You know, maybe you can tell them you didn't really appreciate their tactics, that's fine. But you can do that in a way that isn't combative and, you know, doesn't promote a sense of anger. You know, some people play in these really dirty ways to try to evoke those sense of angers in others. I used to know a guy I played with. He was really good. He was a really good Call of Duty player. But on Black Ops, on Radiation, His idea of fun was he'd go sit up on that little tower in the back, and he'd just lay prone in front of the ladder and wait for people to climb up to shoot him. And he'd get dogs like every other game doing this, and he just thought it was so funny when people got pissed off when he did that. That was his idea of fun. And some people take it that way, and they just do that to have a good time. It's not that he was trying to be rude about it, he just thought that was funny. And obviously it was a very cheap tactic to use. That's how he got his enjoyment out of the game. That's what he spent his money for. He's allowed to do that. He's not cheating, he's not glitching. But, just accept that people are going to play in ways that are going to frustrate you, or maybe not what you would consider skillful, not what I would consider skillful, but it's working for them, and if they beat you using that tactic, you need to accept that you lost because of that. And just say good game, move on to the next game. If you didn't like it, back out the lobby, go find a new room. But don't end that game on a bad note. I'm never going to end a game on a bad note again. I'm going to say good game every single time, and I encourage you to do the same. I think you'll see really positive results if you do this. I know when I've done this in the past, I've had very positive results, and I really didn't get reminded of this till I got back on PC. And, the GG, the good game, is pretty much the standard at the end of every game, and I think that's a very positive thing to bring to your console play. That's about all I got. Frag out.